deal with? What you deal with? What you deal with? Turn me up some more. Incognito, speaking to your feelings. Maverick, making music, men, women, boys and girls, and welcome to the movement. The fifth with improvement. Aristotle.
Hey, what's up, gang? This is James with the Movement of Sustainable Salons, here with my lovely wife, Angela, over here in the Garden State of New Jersey. We're on for another call today with our counterparts over there in Design House Salon. What's up, Kurtis? What's up, Chantelle? How are you?
Hi.
Hi, guys. Great to see you.
You know, we're really fortunate. We're kind of moving into getting ready for Sustainable Beauty Month and all these great community type projects that everybody's been working on through the Davines community. And we're really, really lucky that we have Matthew Fairfax from Justice and Soul coming to us live from Cambodia. We're so fortunate to have all these crazy places come on our live calls here. But what's up, Matthew? How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me. This is great.
No, listen, we're definitely humbled and honored, even by T-shirt, to have you on the call with us today. Hopefully you can get a little bit of the information about your project out there to the Davines community that aren't familiar with it yet. And we're going to be super lucky because Kurtis and Chantelle are going to be traveling out there for Hair on Stage Bangkok, and Chantelle's going to do a little training with you there to help out some of the ladies that you have in your program. But why don't you give us a little overview on Justice and Soul Project?
Great. I'd love to. So where to begin? Probably how it all began in the first place. Basically what we are is we're a cosmetology school and a high-end Western style hair salon teaching traffic survivors and at-risk youth cosmetology. We're teaching them a vocation that can put them back into reintegrating back into the world as they knew it before they were trafficked. So yeah, it started over a cup of coffee, and a client that was doing work over here came into my salon in Seattle and said, we need help. These young kids are being trafficked. They get rescued. They get put into organizations that do the counseling and the trauma counseling to get them back, but then they need skills. If we want to keep them from being re-exploited, if we want to keep them out of the brothels and out of sexual exploitation, they need skills. They need something that they can fall back on. And one of the things that we wanted to do is give them enough skill that they can make a really good living, because the typical haircut over here is $1 or $2. We wanted them to be able to charge $25 or $30 so that they can make an honest living and not be tempted or not be pulled back into sex trafficking.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it took a lot of research. I had never heard of this before. I honestly wasn't even, when my client said, I'd like to talk to you about it to one of my stylists, I told her to say no. I don't have time. We got enough work here. We're not doing anything in Cambodia. Don't, you know. And she came back and said, well, she is a client. You should at least have coffee. And now I tell people coffee is actually dangerous. I've done dinner with people. I drink wine with people, but I've never made this kind of commitment except when I drink coffee. So after listening for 2.5 hours, and I'm realizing what a huge global problem this was, that I realized that some of the girls, when they were talking about it, are 6 years old that are put into brothels. Now, the average age is 11 to 14. I have a granddaughter who at the time was that age. And I'm trying to process all this, and I'm thinking, how is this even possible? And how is somebody not doing something about it? And in that moment, I started to think, other people are going to want to get involved with this. Stylists will want to get involved. Manufacturers will want to get involved. And I don't know why, but it went from, we just want to do a little salon, a little hair salon, which is what the person I was talking with, into no, it's got to be bigger. So I took it back to my team and I said to them, this is what's going on. This is true sustainability. Are you guys interested in getting involved in helping these young lives? And they were like, yeah, we definitely need to find out more. And then Lauren, one of my stylists, said, absolutely, I'm in. If we do this, I want to be there. And she said, I'm already sending money over there. So she kind of drove the process and pushed and said, let's get it booked. Let's go over there. And that was 2009. We took our first trip in 2009. Met with about a dozen NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, the nonprofits working over here to find out if our idea would work. And one of my friends said, it's a nice idea, but take your toys and go home. She said, it's not going to work. And I'm like, she's been here for a long time. And I'm like, okay, you know, immediately what that says to me is, oh, I'm going to make this work. And then my counterpart, Lauren, she looked at me and she was like, that was the worst meeting we had. And I said, no, it was actually the best meeting we had, because she was honest with me, with us. She told us that we need a better plan. Our plan wasn't sustainable. It wasn't. Donors get tired of giving money over and over again. So what we had to do is come back and figure out, how could we come over here and do a program that donors don't have to support. So that's when the high-end Western style hair salon came in, and we said, okay, what if we charge $30 for a haircut? What if we charge $60 for color? And that money then goes back to pay for the scholarships for the students in our program. Brought that back in 2011. People loved the idea. Well, some did, some thought, no, it's not gonna work. By 2012, at that point, I made the decision I have to move here. I said that there's no way that this is going to take off. We're not gonna be able to build a salon and get momentum if one of us isn't on the ground. So I went back. I told my leadership team and said, you guys have to run the salon because I gotta go to Cambodia. Came here for 6 weeks to make sure that I could actually live in Cambodia. It's a developing country. It's hot. It's stinky. There's, you know, lots of things that I had to, and I knew 2 weeks into it, there was no question, no doubt. My cousin came with me at the same time, and she's makeup artist from New York, and she said, I'm in. I can't go back to my life as it was. So I went back, sold everything except for my salon and my kids, and off I went. I came here July 2013. My cousin joined me, Brian, and she joined me January 2014. We started our fundraising February 2014. By April, we had raised $50,000 using crowdsourcing. We found the space, built the salon, hired staff, like got 2 staff members, and brought on 4 students. And we opened our doors July, I think, 28. And so yeah, now we're up to 8 students, 5 girls, 3 boys. 2 of those students will be graduating December 2nd. So we're really excited about that. So yeah, and the thing is that trafficking is not just Cambodia. Trafficking is happening globally. So we're actually now creating a program back in Seattle. We're working on the legs of how we're going to address reintegrating traffic survivors in Seattle and in the Northwest. And ultimately, we want to roll that across the United States. We're also creating this model in Cambodia so it can be replicated in the Philippines, potentially in India, in any, Honduras is one of the places we're looking at. Any country with a high rate of sexual exploitation, that's what we're going for. So that's my story in a nutshell. And so now I'm 3 years, I've been over 3 years living in Cambodia. And there are days that I'm shocked and amazed that I've done this. And I'm amazed at how many people have gotten on board with this. Davines jumped in from the get-go. Before I left, I met with Paulo and Davide, and I said, okay, this is what I've been talking about. It's real now. I'm moving over there. I need your help. And they said, we're in. We'll figure out how we're going to do this, but we'll support you. They donated all of our product, back bar, everything for the last 2 years. They have helped spread the word. We rely on guest artists to come over. So once a month, a guest artist comes over and joins our stylist in teaching, in taking clients, helping clients, doing all of the, just supporting the program. And they come for 1 month. And what I tell people is that it's powerful for the students to get this input from different people from around the world. But where it's really powerful is for the guest artists, because inevitably they walk away feeling something totally different. So some of our students have no education. Some of them have a second or third grade education. So our education program is super unique over here. So I tell people you have to come over with an open mind. You're not coming over with Western style cosmetology school, because it doesn't work that way. We get creative. We have drawings. We do, stuff on the wall. We get their hands involved and their brains involved. We're teaching math. We have to find creative ways to teach our students math. So, yeah.
And we talk a lot about education on the program, and we're very fortunate to have a lot of people that do all different types of education like you guys do there. But one of the things you just mentioned about some of them having a second or third grade education, we both, Design House and the Beehive, we do a lot of hands-on education for our stylists, and you're dealing with people that have well more than a second or third grade education, and you're teaching them chemistry, you're teaching them like you had said, math and things like that, geometry. How does that translate? So between the language barrier issues, between the education background issues, are they just kind of that much more artistic and jump right in, or how do you feel that?
No, I mean, I think that the amazing thing is Tamia is teaching, they're learning we're basically teaching them chemistry and everything, algebra. I mean, you name it, we are teaching them, but we're doing it in creative ways so that they don't realize that they're learning what a 90-degree angle is. So we're introducing them piece by piece. So, a lot of the programs that are going on over here are happening in maybe a 6 or 9 month period. Well, I know how hard it is to get a stylist trained in the United States with all the advantages trained in that time. Our program is a minimum of 2 years because we want to make sure that they truly understand how to formulate color. So right now, all of our students, I walked into the academy and they had pictures torn out of magazines of all these different hair colors. And then they wrote on the wall all the different, is this warm, is this cool, is this ash? And so they're rearranging all of these pictures on there, and then they're talking about it, and then they're teaching them, so is this what? A 711. You're going to tone it with a 711. Things that, I'm not a hairdresser. I have no idea what they're talking about, but my students do. And so they'll see a color and they'll say, oh, that's a 7 or this is a 5. And I wanted it, so they're getting all of this down, and you just have to get creative. The other thing that we don't have to deal with in the United States so much is trauma. So at least half of our students have come to us with some form of trauma, and some it's pretty extensive trauma. So we have different ways. They have coping strategies that we have to work with. We have to help retrain and give them new coping strategies. So yeah, it's and what I'm most proud of is my team over here. They're doing it. We are putting out some work. Our 2 graduate students that are graduating, they're doing work. Several of them already have clients that are saying, no, I'm coming back to you. You're now my new stylist. So they're already building clientele. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I maybe just touch on a little bit of what you had said earlier in just motivating and training and really dealing with the trauma aspect of this. what I do know of what you've talked a little bit about is some of the practices that you've done in your salon in Seattle, but also that you've brought onto the table through the leadership team, like in your gratitude circles. And like, just do you mind talking a little bit about the support that you have that's quite unique for your program?
Yeah, so what we do in the beginning, the very first day that they get there, we start doing work with values and helping people to understand what their values are and what our salon values are, so that they can start identifying how I behave ties to my values, and it's really important. In the morning, we do a gratitude huddle every single morning. So everybody gathers around the color bar. We share at least one thing. And it's so funny because in the beginning, it's new to people. So they're like, gratitude, okay, I'm grateful I woke up today kind of thing. But now it's like the gratitude huddles, everybody has 2, 3, 4 gratitudes that they want to share. I've had to say, okay, today we have a lot to cover, so you only get 2 gratitudes. And, but when there are days where we have more time built in and people start sharing some of their gratitudes that sometimes morph into challenges that are going on in their life. What I love about our team is that we've worked very, very hard to create trust. When we talk about the culture of an organization, I'm a big believer in having a culture where people trust each other, where they have each other's backs, where they can ask, and share, and they're not going to be judged for it. So in the mornings, it's like sometimes it's all laughter and everybody's excited and it starts the day up right. And then every now and then somebody's got an issue that comes up that it's like, breaks your heart. And we don't process them. We're not therapists. And that's one of the things I have to train all the volunteers when they come in. We don't delve into their past. But if they choose to bring up something painful, which often, every now and then does, we listen. And when, we thank them for sharing. And when we get done, then it's my opportunity to sit down with them and make sure they're okay. All of them have therapists or training that's going on outside of what our organization has. So they come to us from a non-governmental organization, an NGO that's working with them. And we create agreements with them that whether the student stays with them or not, because about half of our students live on their own now, the organization still provides that therapeutic aspect that's going to be needed. But what I will say is when I look at the 2 graduating students and I look at where they started and the fear that's there, the lack of trust, the esteem, the ability to look you in the eye and shake your hand and say their name loud and proud, it's not there in the very beginning. But today, these 2 stylists, absolutely amazing. And it took about a year, I think. They hit that point and they turned a corner and they knew we weren't going to kick them out. They knew that they were truly going to be stylists, and they started to see the vision. Now they're talking about their own, having their own salons and bringing on their own apprentices. We have them doing work with TV drama. We did a whole TV drama series where we were providing makeup and hair. So they know we're doing runway shows, fashion shows. They know that what they're doing now is not just hair. They're going to be changing the fashion playground of Cambodia. That, Cambodia is great for copying things, but what our students are doing now is creating vision. And I'm excited for graduation because these 2 are already, they're creating their own looks. They are creating their own vision. It's their work. We're helping them say, okay, that's achievable. This we may not. They're doing it. So they have a theme and an idea of what they're putting together. And they'll have 3 models for graduation night. So that's
awesome. And so tell us a little bit about the graduation process, Matthew, because we're fortunate enough to be coming out there and celebrating that with you. And it sounds like you've got some other people coming as well.
Yeah, right now we have had probably 20 maybe 24 guest artists total that have come over the last couple of years. Some guest artists came for like 2 months. Some came for, one just left us after 5 months. So we have longer terms. But the exciting thing is 11 of those guest artists are returning for graduation for these 2 students. That's amazing. They're bringing their spouses and friends. So they're all going to be here. I'm anticipating at this point, we're looking at 70 people that are going to be showing up, including you two, for graduation. And what we've done is we've found a space at the top of the Phnom Penh Towers. So it's got a city view. And we're going to have a stage, a little platform for the models to come out on. We're going to do, food and, drinks and all of that kind of stuff. So, and the 2 students will be able to come out. We'll do a little background of what they've learned, and then they will demonstrate with their models. We'll show before pictures of their models, and then they'll show us what they've done with their models and explain what it is they've done. So, yeah.
That's great.
It's gonna be a great night.
We'll be live from the movement's perspective, and putting out some social media and following the event. So for all of our members out there, make sure to just tune in and watch that, because we're going to be it's going to be great celebrating that aspect with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and both of our students have asked to stay on. They both want to work there. In fact, right now, all 8 of our students want to work at the salon, which just means we have to build a bigger salon and more chairs. So that may be one of our fundraising, is to do a capital campaign and either get a bigger salon or a second salon, because I have a feeling, and the goal is to, ultimately, I would like to have the majority of our stylists, Cambodian stylists, and I would like them to eventually be the trainers, so that we have them perfect their craft so much that they're able to teach it. So. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So how can stylists over here help you guys out? Like, what kind of fundraising, what do you need us to do to sort of help you guys get that extra space that you need for your new salon?
We several different things. One is we're always looking for guest artists. And so there's an online application at our website, justiceandsoul.org, where they can go out and fill out the application. They can see a video that we just made about the volunteer guest artist experience. Come over and do that. That's number 1. Number 2, spread the word, get people involved, have them pay attention, know the signs of trafficking. You have traffic victims in your communities right now, everywhere across the United States. You can learn to pay attention to these signs. And yeah, fundraising, we definitely need fundraising. And we have a lot of salons that'll just pick one day, designate everything that they earn that day to go to Justice and Soul. Sometimes they'll do a raffle for a couple baskets, and they'll do that over the course of a month and give their clients, that creates awareness of their clients, that gets people involved and feeling like they're contributing. The other thing that is my dream, my vision, is right now we are going to be having our 4th annual Fashion Solstice in Seattle. And we've done this now for 4 years in a row. It's grown every year. Last year we had over 600 guests. We had 20 salons participating, and they come together and they do fashion and beauty around restoration and hope. And so we do this whole runway show, silent auction, and we raised over $100,000 last year in one night.
Wow.
The fashion.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. On our first one, we raised $45,000. So we've just had this nice, steady growth, and people are getting involved and they're excited and they want to be part of this evening. And so my vision is to have Fashion Solstice happening in every major city across the United States and Canada, and actually around the world. I think it would be great to do a hair show. I mean, this is, you don't see very many hair shows. The sole purpose is to support restoration of traffic survivors. It's all about charity. And so there's a sense of camaraderie that happens between the salons that come together. It's not a competition. We realize that we're working together. And I'm excited because whenever we have a fashion solstice, we show the team back here, this is what's going on in Seattle. This is what you can do. You can create a hair show, a fashion show just like this. So I want to see this happening everywhere we can do it.
That's good. What time of year do you do the fashion solstice?
We do ours March 25th this year. So it's usually the end of March. So if anybody is in the area, would like to come, please, tickets will go on sale within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So by December 1st, we'll have tickets on sale. And it's March 25th, 2017, 7 p.m. Actually, it's going to start, I think, earlier, 6 o'clock at the Linwood Convention Center, so just north of Seattle. There's lots of hotels around there. It's a great, great way to get involved.
That's really good. You know, that's something we'll talk a little bit more about in another call as we start to plan for some of these, you know, salon community-based charity events that we do. You know, we do our Sustainable Beauty Month event here as an Earth Week event. Kurtis and Chantelle do a well-fed beauty event for the Eco Food District. They support their own things. We support kids in therapeutic foster care. They're supporting the food aspect and now slow food, right, guys, over there in Vancouver Island?
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So these are things that salons can kind of get together and do. And I love that you mentioned that it's not a competitive thing, that it's a camaraderie-based thing. And I think that's always an issue.
Well, and I think that what you're saying is absolutely, because, you know, people say, well, I want to work with survivors. The reality is what you just said there, all of the organizations, you're working with the foster care system, every one of the things that you guys are doing are preventative outreach so that they don't end up being trafficked. The more esteem we build at a younger age, the more safety measures we put in at a younger age, the less likely that I have to put my team together on the restoration side. So I think what you guys are doing is powerful. And I think that sustainability starts from making sure people are fed, making sure they're clothed, making sure that foster have support mechanisms. So anyway, yeah, it's not a competition. It's all working together. And this is what I love about Davines, is that everything works together with Davines. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Cool. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, you know, Matthew. You're doing such an amazing thing. And I know that, you know, you put your whole heart and soul into this. And when I met you down in, or we met you down in Seattle, it really, you know, it really touched us about, you know, what you're doing out there. And that's why we really wanted to follow this. And so I really hope that as many people out there as possible hear about it. They go and check out what you're doing. They get involved, contact you, hear about it, even just figure out, you know, just be aware of what's going on in the world, that this is actually happening in Cambodia, that there are men and women or boys and girls that are being abused at this level. And we need to change it.
Yeah, it's absolutely, I try not to go into the horrors of it because there's enough, you can go online and you can read about some of the horrible stories and the money that's involved. And my goal now, it is horrible and that does hook people and people do, you know, get that. But now I love that we're part of Restoration and Hope. We get to see that even the children that have been hurt the most, we can still restore them, that we can't give up on them. And that's why I love that the beauty industry is getting involved and not giving up, that we're gonna say, no, we'll see this through to completion. They will be whole. So yeah, thank you.
So well said.
Yeah, it's great to be a part of a team like Davines and the beauty industry. I mean, even the beauty is Paul Mitchell even stepped in and gave us money. Dermalogica has provided all of our skincare and given us money. So it's like everybody has a piece to play in restoring these young lives. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I'm so grateful to have met you guys and be a part of, to find ourselves stepping into a bigger arena. It's awesome.
Cool.
No, that is great. And what I'll tell all of our followers with the movement, that this is something, obviously with Kurtis and Chantelle going over there, we'll be able to touch on different aspects of this as we move on. Matthew, humbled, honored, love the work that you're doing. We're kind of in our infancy of working on projects too, so we completely respect the amount of time and things that get involved. So happy that you're with us today. I don't know, do you guys have any more questions, Kurtis and Chantelle? Anything for Matthew?
Well, we got a ton of more questions, but I think that we should let Matthew go, and I think that would love to do kind of a part 2 and see what the next step of the restoration aspect of this is going to be, and really touch on the aspects of what what you were talking about, the sustainability piece that's really strong, and your 3 pillars of like the belonging, trust, and support aspect of what you do is something that I think resonates with all of our own separate projects and what we're doing, but with yours it's just even that much more powerful and unique. So same thing, we're just humbled and thankful that we get a chance to personally get involved with this and to cover it. And thank you so much, James and Angela, for coming. I know it's super late for you guys out in New Jersey.
Have so much fun, you guys. Really have so much fun there. It's going to be amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then Facebook, check us out. We have a Facebook page, Justice and Soul, as well as our website, justiceandsoul.org. So
Awesome.
great.
Yeah, we're going to blast that out for you too, Matthew, to our people. As always, you guys, anybody that's new, make sure you're joining at thesalonmovement.com. Make sure that you check out Matthew and his awesome project at justiceandsoul.org. We'll have some resources and things on our website. We'll also rebroadcast. You have a beautiful video that's out. It's a short one for short attention spans. It's only about 2 minutes long. We'll repost that through our YouTube channel as well. And Matthew, thank you so much. And definitely we want to take you up on a part 2, maybe even a part 3 afterwards.
Akuncharan. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
Matthew.
you.
Bye, James.
All right.
Good night.
Peace, guys.
Messing me up my whole head, teasing me just like Tita did Martin. Now look at what you starting. Schoolboy crushing it, ain't on the hush, the whole world see it, but you can't. My peoples, they complain, sit and rave and rant. Come on. Your name is out my mouth like an ancient chant. Got me like a dog as I pause and pant.
Speaking of which, got a leash and a wish just to rock.